Good afternoon, my name is Soha.
And I'm Cassandra.
Today we will be talking about a case that involves our client named Helga, and the technique that we will be using is Gestalt therapy.
Intro of our client Helga's case. Helga moved from Germany to New Jersey in her late teens. Helga suffers from deep depression and she's made several attempts to commit suicide. She's been in and out of several mental institutions. She's been out of the last mental institution for about a year now. She's mentioned that she feels isolated and lonely. She's been unable to hold a husband or a job, and she's also lost her kids.
More about the client. After she left Germany and became a resident in New Jersey with her husband, she did not feel like it was a home to her. And at the same time, she felt like she could not go back to Germany and that there was nothing to go back to in Germany. All of these events took place suddenly and made her feel rejected, full of guilt and hatred towards herself. She has also mentioned that she looks forward to death, and after being out of the institution, she goes to day treatment sessions on a regular basis.
About the technique and model of Gestalt therapy. Gestalt therapy is grounded in the here and now of a client's life. Fritz Perls is the originator of Gestalt therapy. He believed that unfinished business makes a client more resistant to forming relationships and making contact with other people. Fritz Perls believed that contact with nature and others is crucial without losing one's individuality, and it is essential to a client's healthy well-being. Some things you might find in Helga that are common is the use of boundary disturbances, which are used by clients to prevent themselves from experiencing the present fully. For clients, the power is in the present. Also in Gestalt therapy, language is very important to the therapist. Metaphors are often used by clients to express themselves and allude to their internal struggles. In our first session with Helga, she made a metaphor pertaining to her life, and she said, "I just can't see any light at the end of that long, dark, scary tunnel." We will be examining this statement.
More about the technique and the model. In this model, unfinished business is included and pertains to holding in feelings and memories about one's past that may linger in the background. From this, there are various unhealthy results, and these include compulsive behavior, no energy due to depression, and signs of self-defeat and behavior. Although Gestalt therapy is focused on the here and now, unfinished business must be brought to awareness if change is to occur. And also, we make it clear that the client must take responsibility for their actions and also accept the consequences that come from it. They are the ones who choose everything that they do in their life, so there is no one to blame, and that has to be brought to their attention.
How this technique is being used in regards to our client Helga. In our first session with Helga, we developed a relationship with her, and we got the client to self-express. In our second session, which you will be seeing today, we are going to recap what we saw in our first session and work on her present feelings. By doing this, we'll be using a role-playing technique, and this technique is known as dream work. In dream work, we get the client to bring the dream back to life and relive the dream as if it were happening right now. This gets the client to recognize the projection of themselves through others and not focus on their past mistakes.
Next, you will see how The second session takes place between Helga and her therapist. Enjoy.
Thank you for coming in today, Helga.
Hi.
Hi. What is that you're doing with your hands?
I'm just nervous for our session today.
And why are you nervous?
Because I'm reluctant to tell people how I feel.
That's okay. I just wanted to dive into our session today and discuss something you said in our first meeting together, just last week. You said that you couldn't see any light at the end of that long, dark, cold, scary tunnel, and that you look forward to death because you wouldn't have to suffer anymore. Let's explore this a little bit. What does that tunnel represent to you?
I think it represents my life.
Okay. And what about your life?
Everything that I've gone through.
And what is that you've gone through?
I just don't feel like it's ever going to change or get any better for me, and I just rather die so I don't have to put up with it anymore.
Okay, so you feel empty.
Yeah, I feel emptiness, guilt, pain, loss, and hatred for myself.
Okay, and where do you think that these emotions stem from?
Well, besides everything that I've gone through, I keep having this constant reminder with a dream. I keep having this reoccurring dream that's really terrifying, and I don't know what to make out of it. This dream that keeps recurring, and then when I wake up, it just adds to the depression, making me feel helpless.
Okay, let's talk about this dream a little bit more. What happened?
We're in our apartment in New Jersey, and I'm wearing a white dress, and my husband's standing right across from me, and I look down and I see blood stains, and I look up all confused, and I see then my little boy standing behind my husband as my husband is crying, and I look to the floor and I see my little girl just laying there in a pool of blood. Son then looks at me and points at me saying that it's all my fault, that it's all my fault. And then I wake up and it all just gets worse for me, and I just wake up really sad. And I don't understand.
It's a really vivid dream. Well, it sounds like you need to deal with some of the unfinished business that's going on with your emotions in your past. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to pull apart this dream. Okay, I want you to bring the dream alive. And we're going to do a little role-playing exercise in which you reenact the dream as though you were reliving it right here, right now in this office. Okay? But instead, I want you to become each of the people in your dream, your husband, your son, your daughter. And I want you to see yourself from their point of view. Invent dialogue, do whatever you have to do to make this happen, okay? So what does he see? When you're standing there in a white dress full of blood, what does he see?
I think he sees disappointment, sadness, confusion in my face. He sees everything that we've gone through, maybe, and how it's come to that point.
That's good. And what about your son? He's behind his father. You mentioned that he's crying and screaming at you, saying that it's all your fault. Why is it all your fault?
I think he's just saying that because he feels like I've neglected them, both him, my daughter, and even my own husband. And what I mean by neglect is that after we moved to New Jersey and I had my first child, I became depressed, and after I had my first child, like 3 months later, I was already pregnant with my second, so I didn't have time for myself. I didn't have time for having experiences with my first child and a husband together, and the feeling of depression just made me like push them away from me, and I just wanted to be alone all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's resenting me for that, but it wasn't something I could control, and I just wished they would have taken my feelings into consideration and to try to understand me better, because it was always all about them, me giving all my attention to them, but what about me? What about how I feel, you know? And that I also need love and affection, not only them, you know? And they made me out to be the bad guy because I neglected them.
And as a mother, you're supposed to be nurturing and comforting, and you couldn't be that when you're sick.
I couldn't control my emotions.
So I understand that it's not all your fault. That's good that you recognize that. You know, I hope this dream has brought you a little bit of awareness and realizing that it's not you, it's not all you, and you're able to move past this and leave those experiences in the past and just focus on the here and now and what can you do to improve your life. Okay, Helga?
Okay, thank you so much.